Picture this. The day is finally over. The house has gone quiet, the lights are off, the blankets are warm, and just as you start to drift off, you feel it. That familiar little weight settling against your legs, or curling up beside your chest, or somehow taking over your pillow like it belongs to them. Your cat is here. And yes, it's adorable. Everyone knows that part. But what most people don't realize is that this tiny nighttime ritual can carry a lot more meaning than it seems. Because when a cat chooses to sleep next to you, it is rarely just about comfort. It can be about safety, trust, routine, bonding, even emotional awareness. In other words, your cat may be saying much more than, "This bed is warm." Tonight, we're going to decode that ritual together. We're going to look past the cute surface and get into the deeper psychology behind why cats sleep with the humans they feel closest to. And the truth is, once you understand what this behavior can mean, you may never look at bedtime the same way again. Chapter 1. It was never just about warmth. Let's start with the most common explanation people give. Cats sleep with you because you're warm. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. Cats do love warmth. They seek it out constantly. Sunbeams, fresh laundry, laptops, window perches, heating vents. They are experts at finding the coziest place in the house. So yes, warmth is part of the picture. But it is usually not the whole picture. Because if heat were all your cat wanted, they would have plenty of options that don't involve climbing into bed with a giant sleeping human who rolls over, moves around, and takes up most of the mattress. So why choose you? To answer that, we have to understand something important about cats. Sleep is one of the most vulnerable states they ever enter. Even the most pampered indoor cat still carries ancient instincts. And those instincts are always paying attention to one basic question. Am I safe enough to let my guard down here? That matters because cats do not relax deeply just anywhere. They choose resting places carefully. Height, cover, escape routes, noise level, smell, and familiarity all play a role. So when your cat walks past quieter corners of the house, ignores an empty chair, skips the soft blanket on the sofa, and chooses to sleep right beside you, that choice often reflects something deeper than comfort alone. It often reflects trust. Not casual trust, not "you give me snacks" trust. The deeper kind. The kind that says, "I feel secure enough around you to rest when I'm at my most defenseless." And that is not a small thing in the world of a cat. Research on cat-human bonding has suggested that cats can form meaningful attachment patterns with their caregivers. They may not show it in the same way dogs do, but that doesn't make it shallow. In many cats, closeness is expressed quietly through proximity, routine, and where they choose to settle when they feel safest. So if your cat sleeps next to you night after night, the message may be simple, but powerful. You are one of the places in this world where I feel safe. And for a species that is naturally alert, cautious, and deeply sensitive to its environment, that says a lot. I'd love to know, where does your cat usually sleep? At your feet? On your chest? Next to your head? Or do they somehow manage to claim the exact center of the bed? Tell me in the comments, because where they choose to sleep can reveal more than most people think. Chapter 2. The Secret Language of Scent. Now let's go a layer deeper. Have you ever noticed that right before settling down, your cat rubs their face against you? Or presses their cheek against your hand? Or leans their whole body into you before curling up to sleep? Most people see that and think, "Oh, they're being affectionate." And they are. But that behavior is doing more than expressing affection. It's also about scent. Cats live in a world that is much more scent-based than most humans realize. They have scent glands around the cheeks, forehead, chin, and tail area, and they use those scents to gather information and to leave social signals behind. So when your cat rubs against you, they are not just being cute. They are helping build a shared scent environment, something familiar, social, and reassuring. And that matters because for cats, familiar scent is deeply tied to safety. In cat social groups, shared scent can help mark who belongs, who feels known, and who is part of the safe circle. So when your cat sleeps pressed against your clothes, your skin, or your blanket night after night, they may be doing something emotionally significant in their own feline way, reinforcing that sense of closeness and familiarity. That is one reason your cat may seem especially interested in you when you come home after being gone all day, or longer. You smell different. The familiar scent pattern has changed, and many cats respond by sniffing, rubbing, circling, or cuddling more intensely, almost like they are re-establishing the connection. From a human perspective, it feels like affection. From a cat's perspective, it may also be a way of saying, "You're part of my world. You smell like home. Let's keep it that way." And once you start seeing it like that, those quiet bedtime rubs feel different. Less random, less casual, more like a ritual of belonging. Not dramatic, not mystical, just deeply feline, and honestly, kind of beautiful. If this is changing the way you see your cat already, make sure to like the video and subscribe. This channel is for people who want to understand their animals on a deeper high. Chapter 3. Why their sleeping spot matters. Now let's talk about something cat owners notice all the time, but rarely think about deeply. Where your cat chooses to sleep. Because the location is often not random. Cats are strategic sleepers. Even when they look completely relaxed, they tend to choose spots that make sense from a feline point of view. They notice access points, noise, airflow, movement, visibility, escape routes. They are always reading the room, even in the places where they rest. So if your cat chooses one sleeping position over another again and again, there is usually a reason. If they sleep near your feet, that may simply be the least disruptive place on the bed. It lets them stay close to you, while still giving them space and an easy exit if they want one. If they sleep pressed against your legs or side, that often suggests they like the closeness and security of body contact. They may feel reassured by your warmth, your scent, and the steady rhythm of your breathing. If they sleep near your head or on your pillow, that can mean a few things. Your head area carries a strong concentration of familiar scent, and it also tends to move less than the rest of the body during sleep. For many cats, that makes it an appealing place to settle. And if your cat sleeps facing the bedroom door, or chooses a spot with a clear view of the room, that may reflect something many cat owners instinctively sense. Even while resting, cats often like to keep track of what is happening around them. Now, does that mean your cat is literally standing guard over you like a tiny furry bodyguard? Not necessarily in the dramatic human sense, but it does mean that many cats prefer sleeping positions that allow them to stay aware of the environment while remaining close to someone they trust. And that combination, vigilance plus closeness, is very telling. It suggests your cat does not see sleep beside you as a careless act. They see it as a safe one. And then there's the strongest version of all, the full contact sleeper. You know the one. The cat who is pressed so tightly against you that there is no daylight between your bodies. The cat who wedges into impossible little spaces and seems happiest when they are practically fused to your side. That kind of sleeping often reflects an especially strong desire for closeness, warmth, and reassurance. Some cats are simply more physically affectionate than others. But when a cat consistently seeks that level of contact during rest, it often means they feel deeply secure in your presence. That isn't neediness. That is trust made physical. Chapter 4. How cats quietly adapt to your life. Here's something else that makes this behavior even more meaningful. Cats are not naturally built around human schedules. By nature, cats are crepuscular. That means they are often most active around dawn and dusk. Those are the times when their instincts are naturally more alert. It is part of the rhythm their species evolved around. And yet, anyone who has lived closely with a cat knows something interesting happens over time. Many cats begin adjusting themselves to the rhythm of the household. They start anticipating when you wake up. They learn when you get home. They recognize the sound of your nighttime routine. They notice when the room gets dark, when the blankets come out, when the television goes off, when the whole house begins settling down. And in bonded households, many cats begin syncing parts of their daily pattern with the humans they live closest to. That doesn't mean they stop being cats. And it doesn't mean they completely erase their natural instincts. But it does mean they adapt. They learn your rhythm. They make room for it. They build their routine around your presence. That matters more than people think. Because routine is a huge source of comfort for cats. Familiar timing helps them feel secure. And when your cat starts consistently appearing at bedtime, jumping onto the bed at the same hour, settling beside you before sleep, waking near you in the morning, That routine becomes part of your shared bond. It is not just a sleep habit anymore. It is a relationship pattern, a quiet one, a repetitive one, but a meaningful one. And maybe that's part of why it feels so emotional to us when they do it. Because over time, it stops feeling like an isolated behavior and starts feeling like a ritual the two of you built together. They know when your day ends, they know when your body starts to settle, they know when it is time to be close. And little by little, they choose to meet you there. Chapter 5. They notice more than you think. Now let's move into something many cat owners have felt very personally. Have you ever gone through a hard day? Stress, grief, illness, heartbreak, anxiety, exhaustion, and noticed your cat suddenly becoming more attached to you than usual? Maybe they stayed closer. Maybe they followed you from room to room. Maybe they settled beside you and refused to leave. A lot of people have experienced this, and it often feels uncanny, like your cat somehow knew. And in a way, they probably did notice that something had changed. Cats are extremely observant animals. They pay attention to patterns, posture, movement, tone, scent, energy level, and routine. They may not understand human emotion the way humans describe it, but they are often very good at noticing when your normal state is off. If your breathing changes, your pace slows, your voice sounds different, your body smells different from stress, or your routine becomes unusual, your cat may respond to that. Not every cat responds with affection. Some become more watchful. Some keep a little distance. Some become clingier. Some simply stay nearby. But many bonded cats do react when the human they know best seems physically or emotionally different. And that is one reason sleeping near you can become such a powerful behavior. At night, your cat is close enough to notice the subtle things. Whether you are restless, whether your breathing is calm or uneven, whether you toss and turn, whether your body feels tense, whether your routine has shifted. Over time, they get very familiar with your baseline. And when that baseline changes, they may notice faster than we expect. That doesn't mean your cat is reading your soul in a mystical sense. It means they are deeply tuned in to the patterns of the person they are bonded with. And honestly, that may be even more meaningful. Because love, in animals, often looks like attention. Steady attention, repeated attention, quiet attention. Not words, not grand gestures, just presence. So if your cat has ever seemed to appear beside you during your worst moments, there is a good chance they were responding to something real. Something in your body, your behavior, or your routine that told them you were not quite yourself. And for a creature that values safety and predictability, staying close may be their version of showing up. I'd really love to hear this from you. Has your cat ever stayed unusually close during a hard time in your life? Illness, stress, grief, heartbreak, anything like that. Share your story in the comments. Those stories always remind us how deep these bonds can really go. Chapter 6. When they suddenly stop sleeping next to you. Now, because this ritual can carry so much meaning, we also need to talk about the moment when it changes. What does it mean if a cat who always slept beside you suddenly stops? First, don't panic. Not every behavior shift means something serious. Cats can change sleeping spots for simple reasons. The weather changed, the room got warmer, the blanket feels different, a new noise appeared. They found another cozy place they like better for a while. Sometimes it is that simple. But if the change is sudden, consistent, and out of character, especially in a cat who had a very strong bedtime routine with you, it is worth paying attention. Because cats are creatures of pattern, and when an important pattern breaks, there's usually a reason. Sometimes the reason is physical. Pain, illness, stiffness, digestive discomfort, or general weakness can cause a cat to withdraw or choose a different resting place. Cats are famous for hiding discomfort, so if an older cat suddenly stops jumping onto the bed, or a very affectionate cat starts sleeping alone in unusual places, it is smart to consider whether something physical may be going on. Sometimes the reason is environmental: a new pet, a new partner, a moved bed, construction noise, different smells, changes in schedule. Even small shifts in the home can feel large to a sensitive cat, and sometimes the reason may be emotional or associative. If your cat was startled badly in the bedroom, disturbed during sleep, or repeatedly interrupted in a way that made the space feel less secure, they may begin choosing a different place to rest. The key is not to dismiss it. If your cat stops sleeping with you, they are not automatically being cold, distant, or moody. Cats do not change meaningful routines for no reason at all. Usually, something has shifted in their body, their environment, or their sense of safety. So observe gently. Are they eating normally, moving normally, grooming normally, using the litter box normally, acting like themselves in other ways? If something feels off, trust that instinct, and if needed, talk to your vet. Because one of the kindest things we can do as cat owners is remember this. When cats change their behavior, they are often communicating, not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly, if we know how to listen. Outro, what your cat may really be saying. So let's come back to that quiet moment at the end of the day. The lights are off, the room is still, and then your cat steps onto the bed, circles once, kneads the blanket, and settles against you. That moment may look small, but to your cat it may mean, I feel safe here. I know your scent. This is part of my routine. You are one of my people. This is where I want to rest. And when you understand that, their presence beside you starts to feel different. Not just cute, not just cozy, but personal. Because in the quiet language of cats, choosing where to sleep is never meaningless. It is one of the clearest ways they show comfort, trust, and connection. So tonight, when your cat curls up beside you, take a second to really notice it. To them, you are not just a warm mattress. You are familiarity. You are safety. You are part of home. And that is a beautiful thing. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments where your cat sleeps every night. I'd genuinely love to read about it. Until next time, stay cozy, give your cat a little extra love, and take care.